Yep. There we go. Oh, come on, get out of there. Hey folks, Justin from Tackle Tactics. Today I wanted to share a video with you where things didn't go quite right. So normally, you know, well, a lot of the time you go out and you'll get stuck into the fish and you'll get the big fish, you'll get the photo, or you'll get a feeder fish, that sort of thing. This particular session was one where I had to really grind it out. So a lot of your good learning happens in those tough sessions. So don't worry if you don't go out and catch them. Just try and learn something when you're out there fishing and learn about an area, learn about a technique. Just try different stuff and see what you can work out on the day. So for this session, I had run in tide in the morning. I headed out to a big flat in the middle of the estuary and I drifted the flat. I thought it would fire. It didn't fire. I ground out a couple of fish off the bank, and then the wind had actually changed to a different direction and it wasn't supposed to be blowing from that direction. So basically my plan B and plan C, I didn't really feel it. So I decided to switch to plan Z and just try something totally different. So what I did was look at the direction the wind was blowing, and it was blowing into the mouth of a creek nearby. So what I did was I decided to go and fish the point of that creek and use the wind to push me down the bank and fish in along the edge of the creek. And there was a lot of mullet in there and I found a few fish, but also I had a few mishaps. But anyway, that was the second bit of the session. And then the third bit of the session, I decided to work my way back out on the flats and back towards my launch point. So the wind was blowing into the creek. So what that meant was I had to sort of paddle out on an angle, use the wind to push me back in, on an angle, use the wind, and that allowed me to cover the mouth of the creek pretty well. Not ideal conditions, but what that wind can do is the wind pushes in, creates a bit of dirty water, stirs the bait up and often stirs the fish up. And also, even though you're only in 0.8 to 1.2 meters of water, because the water's a bit dirtier, the fish will hunt a lot better in there and feed more aggressively. So in the end, I sort of got out and I did that, and I worked my way across the flat and picked up a few more fish on my way back to the launch point. So I guess the key outtakes from the session for me, what I took out of it was, you know, always consider your options, and if you're not feeling it in your gut, move. If you're plan B and C, don't force your plan B and C to work if the conditions aren't right and that sort of thing. Have a look at what the conditions are doing and move and try something else where the conditions suit, and also use that wind to your advantage. So for me, I use that wind to help me down the mangrove edge. I also use that wind to help me cover the flats and also to stir that area up at the mouth of the creek and get those fish fired up. So sit back. I hope you can take something out of this session when we get out there. Plan Z, grind out a few fish. Hope you get out soon, and all the best with the fishing. Cheers. Oh, I think that's a stinker. Pick it up off the bottom. Yep, little rocket ship. Angry little critters. Good fun. Where's the big fellas though? We might add a little bit more scent to that. Keeping an eye on that sounder for the bottom there, and it's just still patchy weed and sand. If it gets a bit clearer, sandier, I can see the weed disappear. I'll bounce it on the bottom a bit more. If it stays weedy, then I'll predominantly just roll it above the weed. Oh, what were you? What were you? What were you? Were you a flatfish? Oh, you were a little flatfish. Missed it on the first take. I was fishing high on the flat, and then I actually just slowed it down, got it right on the bottom, and that little bloke's picked it up off the bottom. Beautiful little flatty. That's crazy. I've been rolling that for quite a while now, just rolling it high in the water column. I allowed it to drop to the bottom. As soon as it found the bottom, this little bloke picked it up. So You definitely got to mix things up. I was probably focusing on the brim side of things too much to start with. Drop it down and got that floody. 2.5 inch slim swims, 1/4 ounce 1/0 TT lures, HeadlockZ Finesse Jighead. And that bloke is good eating size. He's maybe 40, 44, 45, so I'll keep one for the pan and we'll let the rest go. Jerry Lee will be happy with that fella for dinner. Nice little floody, beautiful sandy coloured fish off the bottom there. And that was yeah, dropping that retrieve back down, letting it hit the bottom. There you go. Definitely important to mix the retrieve up. So I'd been rolling that plastic for a little while. 2.5 inch slim swims, 1/4 ounce 1/0 TT lures, HeadlockZ Finesse. So the Finesse jig head is the fine wire jig head, so you can actually bend that a little bit. You can feel that it's a finer gauge type of hook, so it's designed for maximum penetration. If you're fishing heavy drags, heavy leaders, heavier lines, and really putting the hurt on the fish, you want to step from that Finesse jig head to a HeadlockZ HD, which is a heavy wire hook. But for this sort of stuff that I'm doing, light fishing for brim and flatties and that sort of thing, I like the penetration of that fine wire, black nickel chemically sharpened hook. Oh, that got picked up as soon as it hit the water. I'd say that's probably just a stinker, but you never know. Seems to be a lot of little trevs up on this flap. Yep, it is. That's a fringe fin trevally. Oh, he's off. Chill out, buddy. I'll throw you back in. Look at the fins on that guy. Wild. Certainly good fun. They drill your plastic and won't whinge because they're good fun. They put a bend in the rod. Alright, plan A wasn't happening, so we are, I don't know about plan B and C, but this was not in the plans at all. But we're going to go and fish this mangrove edge along here. Haven't fished this area for about 5 years, so I have no idea what to expect, but it just feels like it might produce something today. So we're just going to drift in with the tide, see what we can find. There's a lot of mullet jumping around in here. Hopefully that means it's very active in here. Mullet jumping everywhere out there. We'll put on a bit of mullet. See if we can get the brim and grunter to play. We're in good water. Let's see if we can get the bite. Oh, we ran into a mullet then, I think. Yep, there we go. Oh, come on, get out of there. That was a good take. I thought there'd have to be a fish here in amongst these big schools of mullet. Feels like a nice grunter. Oh, where are you going, buddy? Oh, he's cranky. Oh, yeah, there had to be a good fish here. There's just so many mullet galore here. Biggest schools of mullet I've ever seen in my life, and this guy was in amongst them and he feels alright too. He's taking me on a bit of adventure. Where we going, buddy? Oh, it's pretty weedy in that on the bottom here, so hopefully he doesn't find any of that weed and other structure. That was a good run then, so he's got to be running out of petrol. Oh no! He popped me on something on the bottom. Oh, what a bugger. What a bugger. He found some structure, wiped me out. Oh, I took it a bit easy on him at the start, I think. Oh, that's sad. That was a good grunter by the look of it. I saw it down there. This big silver critter. Oh, that's heartbreaking. Oh man, yeah, he's found a stick, old mangrove or something on the bottom there and just annihilated that 10-pound leader. Oh, dude. Killing me, that was a good fish. Alright, let's get back on the bike and get into it again. That hurt. I've worked hard for that hook up. And then to see the fish, big grunter, and then get annihilated. Oh, not good. Thought I had him too, he was just starting to tire a bit. Did a big run, then started to tire and turned. But he knew what he was looking for and he found it. Hopefully he didn't spook the rest of the school if there's a school of them there. Alright, we're back in the game. Cinch it up, let's get back on with it. Ooh, come on, big grunter. Oh, yep, come on, buddy. Oh, you definitely don't have the size of that last one. What are you though? Just a brimbo, hey? Oh, it was nice to feel a whole solid hook set anyway, and nice to get one to the yuck after losing that big grunter. Oh, thanks, buddy. On your way. Alright, it's got to be a bigger one there. So I'm basically just fishing the last of the run-in tide. I've got the wind blowing me up the creek, so I'm basically just fishing my way up the creek with the last of the run-in tide, and I'm fishing in about 1 to 1.3 meters of water, and I'm just fishing that 2.5 inch slim swims on a 1/4 10 TT lures, HeadlockZ Finesse, casting it in there, and I'm just keeping it above the bottom, so it's fairly weedy bottom. So I'm just giving it a flick every now and then, just giving it a flick and rolling it. I'm trying to stay down on the bottom a bit. I want to stay down on top of that weed and stuff, but I don't want to end up stuck in it. So just using a slow roll, slow wind. Every now and then I'll stop and give it a shake, just in case there's a fish following and they're not eating it. I'll give it a bit of a shake just to change it up a bit. We hooked that solid grunter, lost him, got smoked in a stick or something, and then we got that one little brim, but there's got to be some good fish along this edge. All that mullet, just so much mullet activity here. Got to be stuff hanging around them. Yeah, oh, fish was behind that. Just about ripped his head off. I've got the heavier head on that 1/4 ounce. A lot of people would fish probably an 1/8 here, which would be fine. I just like the 1/4 for a big long cast and getting that cast exactly where I want it. And then I'm just fishing with the rod tip up. So having the rod tip up is keeping that lure up off the bottom so that I can still retrieve fairly slowly. I'm just keeping that rod tip up a bit to keep that lure up off the bottom. I like the 1/4 though. The 1/4 just it allows me to just throw hard and pretty accurate and get it in there, get it moving. If I really wanted to finesse it up, I'd probably run a HeadlockZ, run the Ned rig in here, TRD bugs and TRD crawls, and just flick them around a bit. Oh, that was a big grunt, or a big brim. Going that sucker. Beast. There we go. What's that up in amongst the mullet? What do we got? Just a little brimbo. That's a start. There's brim up there feeding in amongst those mullet. That's a big school of mullet. Only a little brim, but good fun. Bend the rod. Hopefully he's got a bigger mate in there with him. Like that big grunter that smoked me earlier and I still can't get over. Oh yep, what do we got there? Oh, a mullet that ate my lure. What a ripper. He's a cranky mullet eating that lure. That is awesome. Eat it, buddy. Yep, there we go. Finally got it into him. Don't think he's real big, but geez, he bit it enough times. Oh, he's getting angry, huh? Oh, he's not a bad sized brimbo. Up on the flats, rolling those slim swims. He's not a monster, but he's alright. Bit of fun on light gear, considering the conditions. We're battling the wind. It's difficult to fish the banks we want to fish, so we've just come out on the flat and we're just drifting the flat. Oh, be happy if we can have a bit more fun with a few of those guys. Alright, we've got a fish, so we'll scent up. Put a little bit more of that mullet on. It's only shallow water, metre of flats run out tide over the weed. Rolling it. We had a bunch of bumps before we got that guy, so hopefully there's a school of brim out here on the flats. Always a bit of fun. Yep, there we go. Oh, that feels pretty solid too. That's nice. Up on the flats. 0.9 of a metre. Where are you going, buddy? Right around underneath me. Brimbo, not a monster, but good fun again up on the flats. Rolling that 2.5 inch slim swim. It's got terrible conditions, windy, but you can make the most of them. Just set yourself up big, drift across the flats, and hopefully you come across a few brimbos. a bit of fun. Again, only a little fella, but yeah, put a bend in the rod. Oh, yeah, he's only about 26 or so. So where there's smoke there's fire though. If there's a guy like that up here, there could be some bigger ones up on this flat. There could also be a grunter, nice flatty, a few other species up here as well. So we'll keep rolling, keep casting. Yep, there's some more action straight up, next cast. So there seems to be a few brim up on the flats here. He feels a bit smaller, that one. I don't even think he's going to be able to eat it. Get it in here, buddy. No. Alright, that's pretty cool though, lots of action. Lots of action. So we'll just get it out there again. Here we go, more brim action. He felt a bit better, no? I'm just going to keep rolling that, give it a shake every now and then to stir them up. Basically just keep winding it and let them eat their way onto it. If they're any size, they'll definitely eat their way onto there, no problem. Out there again. I'm still rolling that 1/4 ounce head. Just in the wind, it allows me a long cast so that I'm in shallow water. It allows me to get the lure away from the kayak. Big long cast and then cover plenty of water. The fish up on the flats here are generally active, so they'll eat that lure when it's moving fairly quickly, no problem. If you're in an area where the fishing is a bit tougher, brim are feeding a bit slower, just downsize your head weight, and that'll allow you to retrieve it slower, give it a bit more hang time in the water. For me, I'm just running and gunning as we move across this flats, especially with the wind. Oh yep, there we go. Oh, ate his way onto it. He's got a fair bit of weight to him too. Oh, angry. Another nice little brim. We're not setting records for size, but certainly whacking a few numbers. Oh, they're angry too on the flat, which is even better, you know. They don't muck around. They just whack it. What you can do too, where we had those couple of brim in quick time, if you've got your anchor ready with your anchor running rig, you can just drop your anchor over when you catch one of those brim and see if you can sit back out of the way and pick more off the school. We're pretty much just drifting the flat, heading back to our launch point. So we'll just keep on drifting across. We might bump into a flatty, we might bump into a big brim or big grunter. Just keep covering water. Oh no, what have we got? The smallest yellowtail pike in the world. What a great bait for the bait fishers out there. Oh, he'd get eaten by a big flatty or something. Yeah, drilled it. Oh yeah. Oh gee, that drilled it. That was a good take. Oh, nice grunter. Solid grunter. That was a great take. I was just jiggling it around trying to shake the weed off it, and he just drilled it. Oh, he's a good grunter. Come here, buddy. He's scoffed that lure too. He's absolutely inhaled that SwimZ. He's definitely not as big as the grunter that I had on earlier, but he's still a nice fish. We'll definitely put him on the ruler and have a look. He has scoffed that SwimZ. Down the gob, down the hatch. So for those of you that, you know, if you're up on the flats catching brim, you have a good chance of catching a grunter as well, depending on which part of the country you're in especially central Queensland north. Yeah, 36 forker, 37, 38. Tipper, cool fish.